Hello everyone, and I welcome you to this segment once again on State of the Matters, clarifying the true situation with assumption in the affairs of the society. First, the headlines. Former Nigeria President Goodluck Jonathan is advocating for Africa leaders to be within the 25-50 age bracket to handle demands of office. Rivers crisis. Fubara dissolve cabinet, appoints chief press secretary. Former Kaduna State Governor El-Rufai is scheduled to appear before EFCC February 16, 2026. On set here with me is a political analyst by the name Ugochukwu. Good to have you on set, Ugochukwu.
Kings, good to be with you again. Good day, viewers. And we are back like we never left, talking Nigeria. And Nigeria is not devoid of drama every time there is something to talk about Nigeria. So I hope this afternoon will not be different.
Honestly, it's my pleasure having you on Set 101.
Thank you.
So let's go straight to our discussion for today. Now, looking at these headlines, Ugochukwu, we could see the former president, advocating for a particular issues that has been unraveling the country for a long time. Now, he's saying that the age 25, 50 should, handle demands of office. That is, what he's saying here is Africa should come to a point whereby, age 25, age 50 should be those who are handling presidency seats, taking over offices, rather than, people who are, out of age. And he stated some reasons. He made it know that it's due to high physical, mental staminas. People who are well physics for this position. And recalling in his tenure, I think he was age, approximately 60, if I can recall. Yes, 60 or thereabout, or 60 something, when he was in power in his previous administration. So, what is your take on this? And specific discussion or specific demand of former President Goodluck Jonathan?
President Goodluck Jonathan Kings is he has become an African icon.
Exactly.
A well-respected leader in Africa, and if you want to flip over across the globe, because you know that respect and honor is not fostered on people, it's earned. So for one of the actions he performed while he was in office that have never been seen from an African leader, so to say, although we know that the late Nelson Mandela, honorably threw in the towel even when the ovation was still very high. But in the case of Jonathan, he threw in the towel when the ovation was high to save souls. Remember that he said during his electioneering campaign, 2015, that no blood of a Nigerian is worth his re-election or what him being the president.
Exactly.
So, and he maintained that word. According to Shakespeare, he said, "My word is my bond." And he kept to it. But other people, we have seen a lot of them come to make political statements, and when shops come to push, they do not remember what they have said. Just like we had in the Electoral Act, you see that the former INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, came out to tell Nigerians that he was going to do electronic transmission and collection of results from the IREV, which he never kept, even when that particular clip was played in the Supreme Court. But look at what we are talking about, Jonathan, who has earned a global respect
and recognition, and
the African icon by only maintaining what he said. But do we see it in some African leaders? The answer is no. So Jonathan, with all the paraphernalia of the Nigerian presidential office, as juicy as it sounds, and it is, you find out that Nigerians, rooted for Jonathan.
Yeah.
Although the corruption during his administration, though not perpetrated by him, but the board stops at his table, being the president of Nigeria.
Yeah, sorry to interject
Yes.
you. You see, regarding this emphasis of ease, talking about age rates that should take on power in, most especially in Africa. He wasn't just referring to just Nigeria. He was talking about the entire Africa.
Yes.
Now, sir, he stated some past administrations and also past a president and most especially military president, the lives of late General Muntala Mohammed, who took over power at the age of 23. He also talked about General Yakubu Gowon, at the age of 32. You understand? Now, I want to ask one question, in the life of President Jonathan. Currently, I think he'll be going towards age 70 or thereabout currently. Now, peradventure, if he's been given the mandate to come into power again as a president, looking at his courage and of what he's advocating of, do you see him taking that position again?
You see, that is why I was making the expose.
Oh, yeah. I
was coming to the person of Jonathan and what age means in Africa.
Yeah.
That's why I started saying how he got his African and global respect that have led him into saying what he's saying now. So he has now considered himself as an elder statesman.
Yeah.
Given the position he has assumed in Africa. Then when you're looking at it, I will ask Jonathan if he's really talking as an African or he has suddenly become an European. Because Africa, from our own ideology, Africa values age. And Africa thinks that age is wisdom. That is what Africa believes. And from what Jonathan is saying, is it now that he realized that Africa should change the narrative of age being a sign of wisdom. But we have seen globally that some people that have done innovations, some people that have even ruled very,
like that of the former president of the USA, Joe Biden.
Some of them we are younger, and let us not forget that what he's saying now will not be unconnected with the not too young to run bill.
Yeah.
They passed during the Muhammad Buhari's administration. What did Buhari tell the youths then? That they should wait until after his was have finished his tenure. That is when they will now be fighting for not too young to run bill, which is very laughable. He said it and he laughed over it, but Nigerian youths, with the cost of elections in Nigeria, how many of them can have the war chest? So what Jonathan is saying today is neither here nor there. If he's citing the previous rulers Nigeria have had in the person of Yakubu Gowon, Moletara Mohammed in River State here, you talk about Depre, you talk about Ada George, those ones that they said when they held office here as governors of Old River State, we are between 25 and 30 years. And they delivered. I was with one of my friends earlier today who was talking about the River State Secretariat, the civic center built by, is it Ada George or the governor before him, that some of their legacy, the Isaac Boro and the Port Harcourt Conference Center built by them, and it's still standing the test of time. You go to Imo State, you talk about the late Sam Mbakwe, you talk about what they achieved then.
Yeah.
But Jonathan should not be comparing those days with today.
Yeah.
My reasons are these. Recall that the Europeans and the British that colonized Africa and Nigeria in particular did not know that the armies they were grooming up will come to fight them. Just like when you just oppose what happened between Osama bin Laden and America. He was specially trained by the American states.
America, yes, before he...
But he now came to hunt them. In the case of the hunter being hunted. So most of them regretted the Nnamdi Azikiwes of this world, the Tafawa Balevas, the Herbert Macaulays, those of them that schooled abroad. Even the Nnamdi Kanu you're talking about today, he was sent, and Ojukwu, they were sent to go and study law. They ended up studying history, having first-hand information about the history of how Europeans came and what transpired. And when they came back, they find out that they are equal citizens. Not to take it so much back, you find out that most of our soldiers that fought during the First and Second World War and during some of the international wars, when they were thinking that Oyibo men are not being killed, they are like ghosts. But when they went into the war front, they saw those men fall for the bullets. When they came back, they now say, oh, those people are not superior as we thought. That blood even flows from their vein. That was what gave the first Nigerian politically exposed leaders, Paraventure Africa. You talk about the Kwame Nkrumahs of this world.
Yeah.
You talk about Nyareres of this world. They were the people that studied abroad. And when they came back, they learned from the masters. And now, when they were allowing the Oyibo men to leave the country, the colonial masters, they took charge at a very young age.
Yeah.
So you can't just oppose it now. When even in Nigeria, Jonathan is talking about it. What of in Nigeria, where the age limit of justice of the Supreme Court and professors are being taken to 70 and the 75?
Exactly. Yes, I'll cut you there.
What is Jonathan talking about?
I'll cut you there, Ugochukwu. Now, and to finalize on that, and for what is also emphasizing, we could see, most of our current leaders, you understand, with their age rates in which they take over office, and it's really, from what I see, it affects the economic system. Okay, take a look at past administration. You can recall Zebra hospitalization of the former late president, and also this current administration. We could recall most of the health issues, that really, stand a gap between them and the administration. So it's for what he is saying, for what I think he is emphasizing on that. Look, those who are of age should stay back in order not to, cause some calamities.
Yes, I understand. So, if you allow me to come in, I understand exactly where you're going.
We will go straight to our next discussion.
No, I understand what you're saying. I will want to wrap up there.
Yeah.
Jonathan knows that he's playing to the gallery. And let me tell you, there's a philosopher who says that man is old enough to die as soon as a man is born. You're not talking about people anybody can fall to health challenge. We are in the modern world when we see even children from birth, they have diabetes.
That's true.
So there are health challenges I agree to that, yes. Over. So it is not about, is the will to govern, the political will. Like when Jonathan governed, he had the will, he had the template, he had the roadmap.
But I could recall, even in his administration, he never had much of, hospitalization.
No, we are not talking about that. We are not talking about that. We are talking about he made mention of the exigencies of the job.
Okay.
The exigencies of the job and the demand of the job, we understand that is energy sapping. Is energy sapping, which is the fault of the African and Nigerian leaders. It is not mandatory that as we have President Bola Tinubu, crisscrossing across the globe, there are some type of bilateral relations that even your ambassador or your representative will go and do. Even the minister, that's why you have ministers. You have special assistants. You have spokespersons. So the only thing is that African presidents do not understand what it means. You see, United States Secretary of State does an enormous job. More than Mr. President has the international engagement with other countries. Trump don't need to be there. See, we have what we call in government delegated authority. Once somebody delegates you, the person gives you all the powers that you need to function in that state. So what we are saying here, Jonathan, from what he's saying, does not understand even what the office. That is why they have a lot of, the Constitution recognize that they should appoint aides. They should appoint ministers. Okay. They should appoint ambassadors. Okay. So you don't need to, spend your energy and your time going around to do some things that are not. But this is where we see ourselves in Africa. Okay. But what we are saying is that I want to say finally that it does not matter the age, but the political will and the roadmap the president have sent for himself or herself in order to, improve on the lives of the citizens. That is what matters.
Thank you so much, Ogechukwu. Thank you so much for that, Ogechukwu. So we will be going to our next discussion for today, where the Rivers State Governor, Larry Fubara, dissolved the State Executive Council and appointing new Chief Press Secretary. Now, our new Chief Press Secretary, by the name Nwonka Ezechi, was appointed by the state governor, who also dismissed the former chief press secretary by the name Nelson Chukwudi. Now, who he has been relieved from duty. Now, I think this move followed by the reconciliation of the precedent between the state governor and the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. Now, looking at these changes concerning the recent reconciliation, the recent the President Tinubu reconciling the Rivers State governor and the FCT minister, and now this action is being taken recently. What are your emphasis on this? Because it's strange. It looks as if, it has been, for what I see here, it seems it has been, an awaited action that the governor ought to have taken a long time. But it looks as if with this reconciliation between him and the FCT minister, he decided to take this action with immediate effect. So what do you have?
I'm not taking words off your mouth.
Okay.
It's just that the governor of Rivers State, for me, is not. He was not prepared for the job. I don't want to use derogatory words for His Excellency because of his office. Okay. But sometimes the person that occupies the office can either upgrade or bring respect to that office, or let people to denigrate that particular office. I think it's unfortunate that Rivers people are being drawn into what they don't know. That is one of the fallout. That is one of the low keys of having a godfather in politics. You are not allowed to take decisions on your own. You can't make an informed decision. You cannot even find yourself doing what you ought to do. As if you're being teleguided, you're being like a robot. So it's unfortunate where the governor of Rivers State has found himself. Very, very unfortunate. But in another flip, you will understand that government is a continuum. If the governor was so conscious of peace, as he always prides himself as a man of peace, immediately they came back from the 6 months emergency suspension, he would have constituted his cabinet. So this is coming a little too late. Just call it 1 year to the end of his administration, because people are talking about second tenure, but the Constitution of Nigeria, you're elected for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. And 4 years, then the Constitution said if you have done well, or if your people want to, you can do a renewable.
Yes, another 4 years.
So Nigeria is not running an 8 year. This one, everybody wants to think that once you are in the first tenure, it is now automatic.
4+4
for the second tenure. It is not constitutional. So it is the people. That is why democracy is for the people, by the people, and for the people. So, but what do we see in Nigeria? Somebody like him, as soon as they returned, the assembly sat and they reminded him of the budget, reminded him to turn in the names of his cabinet, which he reneged from, which, started causing this infraction we are seeing again, that led Mr. President to intervene. But during that time, Mr. Governor would have done all the things that he ought to do. Because this particular issue we are talking about is about governance. It's about the welfare of the Rivers people. It's about the people's mandate not being trampled upon. So what Mr. Fubara is doing now, for me, is belated, because he was not prepared for the job.
So what
he is not prepared for the job.
Contrary, what you are saying, that the governor is kind of being controlled.
The governor is not. I wouldn't say that the governor is being controlled. The governor is reactionary instead of being proactive. Because you cannot go into such an exalted office and you allow, even if you are being distracted, you should have your own plan B. You should beat your master to the game. You should be dressed for the job.
And
So what he has done now in appointing chief press secretary, I don't know which kind of information he wants to dish out to the Rivers people. I have not, within my own self, since the administration of Seminary Fubara, what he wants to, the ring road was the initiative of
and in accordance with that, he also, all commissioner and special advisors were sacked.
That is what we are saying about the cabinet.
Exactly.
The cabinet, he had been operating with only 8 commissioners. So 8 commissioners, and how many ministries are in Rivers State? So there were a lot of ministries that have been suffering. In one of my in interactions, I have said that if you go by the federal character,
yes,
which also is operational in the states, even at local government, that's why they say this village will produce the councillor. This particular community will produce a member of the House of Representative Assembly, and so on. So federal character is even in our kitchens, where your wife tells the girl child, the one that will wash plate in the morning and in the afternoon, so that everybody will have something they are doing.
Yes.
So in the terms of Seminary Fubara governing with only 8 commissioners, recall there was a time he was governing River State with the aid of permanent secretaries.
Yes, permanent secretaries.
Permanent
yes,
secretaries.
I recall that.
Which is not so. What about those political leaders, those ward and the constituencies that he should even make them feel the impact of governance by what? Appointing a commissioner from that particular area, and which solidifies and gives him the followership and support he needs.
Yeah.
But the governor is not in the traditional square of the Nigerian politicians, but he could have learned from Wike on how to play the politics. Now, as if the governor is being pushed into reacting, Mr. President coming to intervene again, what led to this second fallout?
Yes,
You did not obey, or you did not do your own part as it concerns the former agreement. And now you are now running away. This is like running from pillar to post, wasting Rivers people's time. No governance, no improvement on infrastructure. Job creation is not.
I will cut you there. When you say no improvement of infrastructure, but we could see, looking at the ring road expectation recently, I think that is one of infrastructure.
If you say that is infrastructural development, do you know how many months that road was stored? During the emergency rule and before Fubara came back on September 18th, what was the state of the roads? All the contractors moved out of the site. The governor have to come and renegotiate with them to come back to site. You know that we lost time. Time lost cannot be regained. Fubara was sworn in 29th of May 2023, and he is this office on same day. So you will not say that we are adding another 6 months for you because you are not there. We are not going to add another 6 months for you to finish what you have. So that is what I'm trying to say. If you are aspiring for any office at all, whether from the local council to the federal, you must be equipped. You must be ready for the job. And those jobs, not everybody will clap for you. Don't expect it to be rosy.
Of course.
Don't expect everywhere to be rosy for you. What you're going to do is, I have one of my uncles, very funny. He says that when he's making money, he have 3 ways he divides his income. One is for savings. One is to cater for the immediate problems and what is surrounding him as a man. The other one, he keeps it in case of making trouble. If trouble and emergency comes, you don't dip your hand into the main fund to go and tackle the problem. So anybody that is going for any elective office to serve the public should be prepared that is not everybody that will clap for you, and we are not going to make the road smooth for you to take excuses. So my final thoughts here is that Fubara has lost a lot of time, and we are not going to applaud him for dissolving the cabinet. It had been long overdue. Recall that even before now, there were commissioners that were screened by the kangaroo assembly that he was parading of 4 persons, led by Okojombo. But when the Supreme Court now affirmed the Martin Samehula as authentic House of Assembly, all those that were not screened by Martin Samehula's assembly were asked to go. That's why they remain 8. But now that they've come, let me, I want to make this final analysis. And instead of the governor appointing only chief press secretary, which we know that the secretary of the state government is still there, which is which his office is not being screened by the House of Assembly. We also have advised the governor to make sure that he appoints a mediator, a kind of special assistant or special advisor to interface between him and the House of Assembly. Somebody that will be in the middle, so that they will have seamless and smooth, harmonious working relationship going forward. Thank you so much for that,
Ugochukwu. Well, I don't want to be for, neither should I be against. You know, despite this action, I just wish the governor making this decision is the best and the right decision for the people of Rivers State. Now, let's go to our last discussion segment for today. Now, we're looking at the sudden move by the EFCC, or presumably the DSS. You know, former Kaduna State Governor El-Rufai was scheduled to appear before EFCC on February 16. Now, we could recall yesterday, and even before yesterday, he made it publicly that he will be arrested or apprehended soon. Now, it was like a glowing headline in the minds of many, while with the former governor of Kaduna make these altercations. Now, yesterday, surprisingly, returning from Egypt, he was apprehended by the DSS officials in the Abuja airport. And we also had, or saw rather, that there were some delegates, should I use a loyalist, who came around and, you know, intercepted the situation and, you know, pulled him out and took him to his residence in Abuja. So it happened yesterday. But, you know, it's also stated here that, you know, is to appear, you know, February 16 by making this statement was made by the EFCC in court. Now, what the cause of this, you know, it was someone of a probe of the EFCC, you know, and misappropriates 32 billion naira during his 8-year administration. Now, this has not been, you know, it has not really gone viral. I think just his apprehension that has gone viral. Now, we're looking at the reasons why he was apprehended and why his presence is needed in the court. Now, misappropriation of 432 billion naira. What do you have to say concerning this? And how are we so sure this allegation, this probe is a reality?
Well, Kings, he has not been summoned to court yet. He is only being invited, to EFCC custody, quarters to come and answer some questions, given the petition that have been preferred against him. I think we should get that very clear. When we are trying to dissect, we give our people clear understanding of what we are talking about. Then, El-Rufai, my brother, is like, he is now a soothsayer. And I will also give credit to myself. It's not that those that parade themselves as prophets are the only people that prophecy is not only when you foresee what God is going to do. You know, yesterday or the office today, during one of our programs, I said that, which you agreed with me, that El-Rufai are one of the untouchables in Nigeria. And true to what we said, we saw it play out. Because immediately, I told you that once they arrest him, unless they want to have chaos in the north. And you saw what happened, that immediately they circled him at the airport. His people came.
His loyalists.
He has a court followership. We know those people, and that's why I'm also happy for ADC. You recall, we also mentioned that ADC should not have all these Atiku and Obi kind of people. That is always about peace. Because Nigeria, unfortunately, Very, very unfortunate that the only language you understand here is violence. And when you don't, act in a violent way, the government will ignore you.
Now, on the log
But
share,
immediately you're disturbing the community, they will call you and negotiate with
on
you.
the
Very,
log
very
share,
unfortunate.
on the log share, the bottom line of this discussion, it's why is it that okay, he has been in office for probably 8 years or thereabout when he was a sitting governor, and prior to that time till now, why is it now that he seems to be in the opposition that he is being apprehended now of this probable allegation raised against him?
This is Nigeria where everything happens. So recall that Adams Oshomole said, once you are in APC, your sins
You
are
are born
forgiven. So immediately you leave APC, you become a sinner.
Yeah.
So the sins of El-Rufai is now
being reviewed.
It's now being reviewed. So that is a country where we find ourselves. But it is really not a thing of joy. We don't play politics of acrimony, vendetta, and politics of winner takes it all. The beauty of democracy is the more the merrier. The more political parties, you now test your might. You now test your resolve and your manifesto in convincing the people. Politics is about convincing the majority to buy into your idea.
Okay.
What you're going to do for them. That is what politics means. Politics is not about witch hunting people. So
another interesting question is this. Now, for those who are in the high-profile persons who are in the APC now, in the ruling party, are we saying that probably there might be some allegations awaiting them if they defect out of the APC?
See, I don't want to go into that because what we are talking about, I've said it all when I say that. In fact, Oshomole has done the narrative.
Yes.
So going into that question will be just just repeating what has already been said.
Okay.
But what we are talking about now is that El-Rufai.
Because why I asked that? Because I believe there are so many of them in that APC now that
there will be a fallout after the primaries. So politics is an interest-driven game. There will be an interest you will have. Just like Nyesom Wike 2023. Immediately his interest didn't align with that of PDP. He decided to work for APC. So during primary, that is what they call implosion in political parties. That APC is gathering all the 30 governors. They are coming with their foot soldiers and supporters. But will their interest be accommodated in APC? Somebody who came with a governor who is coming from PDP, and probably the people he appointed as commissioners are PDP people, and you're not going into APC. How are you going to reconcile it? So, and somebody there who has an interest of going for House of Representative or who is from PDP, and you're coming newly into APC, how do you reconcile it? So these are what they call implosion when all this realignment and alignments have gone. So what I'm trying to say about El-Rufai issue is this. If El-Rufai can have the information that he will be arrested, that they want to arrest him, what is happening to the security challenges in Nigeria?
Thank you so much for that, Ugochukwu. I really appreciate your emphasis and also your analysis. Many thanks for being with us, our viewers out there, and that is all we have on this segment on State of the Matter here in First News, Port Harcourt. I remain your humble host. I am Kings Ojalo, and with me on set was by the name Ugochukwu. And thanks for being with me once again. It's a bye for now.